let's bring up on stage Mrudula Nambiar from IISER Pune.
So I'm a biologist by training, and I'm very sure that all of you present here have heard the term DNA, right? So DNA is the genetic blueprint of our lives, and they are present in cells in short thread-like structures called chromosomes. Now, all of us are multicellular organisms, which means that we are made up of tissues which have a lot of cells. And for proper growth and development, each of these cells have to divide continuously. So every time a cell divides, it needs to make sure that it transfers this entire genetic code in the form of DNA and chromosomes to the newly formed cells. Right? So, if you think of chromosomes as books in a library, each book has a unique story, and each of them has has information which contributes towards the complete genetic code of a cell, which means that every cell cannot afford to lose even one of these books, because if it does that, it will lose critical information which is required for the proper functioning of the cell. So, this process of cell division and transfer of this genetic material is highly regulated. And what happens is that for this process to happen, the cell, it makes an exact replica or a duplicate of the entire genome. So, in the context of the analogy that I was giving you, it would basically mean that we purchase an exact copy of all the books in the library and kind of maintain them and catalog them properly so that they can be separated into the two new libraries that are going to be formed ultimately. So, what the cell does is that it uses this very specialized ring like structures which keeps or interlocks these duplicated copies of the chromosome. So you can think of these rings as rubber bands, which are holding the two books, identical copies of the same book together, until the time that they are properly cataloged and then they're ready to be shipped to the two new libraries. So, what my lab at IISER Pune, what we are interested in looking at is different aspects of how these rings or these rubber bands work, how they keep the chromosomes together, and how are they put on these chromosomes in the right time and the right place in the cell. So you might ask, why is that so important? So if you don't have these rings or these rubber bands, essentially what will happen is that the books will fall apart. They will get mixed with all the other random books in the complete set. And because of that, when they are transferred to the daughter cells, there will be the number of books that each cell inherits is going to be a problem. And because of that, you may end up having a situation where a cell has an entire extra set of chromosome, or there is a loss, or a cell misses the chromosome completely. And this would cause diseases like cancer, genetic diseases like Down syndrome, and if it happens in our reproductive cells, it can lead to infertility. So, in short, my research will help us understand how these processes are maintained properly, and all this information might help us find cure or help prevent some of these diseases in the future. Thank you.